Right, we're going to do a video on 3 plants which, for all intents and purposes, died over winter, or look like they were dead. And they're all plants that are in the ground. So we dug them up, chucked them in pots, and this is what we got by the end of summer. And it's not been an ideal summer for plants to be in recovery mode because it's been sort of cool and wet, but these have been stuck on the floor at the back of my greenhouse, and I've sort of forgot about it. I'll just chuck the water on them now and then, and we've got some regrowth. So let's have a look. We'll go through the plants. So this is the Yucca Jewel, which I had in the garden. I had for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years in the garden. Survived every winter. It does take damage, but this winter, you know, we lost it. The trunk was a good couple of feet. Nice big head on it, but yeah, so the trunk rotted a fair bit, so we cut it right down to, well, this is gone soft again now, but as we can see, the main growing point just above soil level, and we've got 3 growth points here, and looking closer we've got another one just sprouting as well. So yeah, it's not something I want to look at all year round, so that's why I dug it up rather than left it in situ. And in a year or 2 time, when these get bigger heads on them, then they will go back out in the garden, as with all these plants. So yeah, that's the first one, Yucca Jewel. Didn't like the winter, too wet, too cold, simple as that. Rotted off, but still alive. Plant number 2, so this is the Sago Palm, Cycas revoluta. This is the one that was in the palm bed, and again this has been out for 5-6 years. Pulled through every winter, no problem. This year, the main, I won't say it's dead because it's still solid, but it didn't, you know, we lost all the foliage and it hasn't flushed out. But when I dug it up, because I didn't want to look at it all year, so we dug it up and put it in a pot, exactly the same with all 3 of these plants at the back of the greenhouse, floor level, so it don't get too hot, and just kept it watered. Because when I dug it up, I noticed that there's a few sort of subterranean sort of growth points, and as we can see, they've started to grow. So where we had the 1 plant, we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's another little one around this side. So we've got 5 growth points on that Sago Palm. So yeah, again, it's going to take a few years for that to look good again, and whether the centre one will ever flush out again, I don't know. But again, time, patience, we'll see what happens. But if not, you know, we've got a cluster of smaller ones which will grow in time as well. So we'll have a little cluster rather than, I mean, these do sort of multi-trunk eventually anyway. So I mean, this is sort of forced the process, if you like. But yeah, again, not dead, just doesn't look good at the moment. And for the last one, this is, again, this is in the garden. This is the Quarterline Superstar, so the thick glossy leaved Superstar Quarterline, which, nice burgundy, one of my favourite Quarterlines. And again, we probably had about 2.5 foot of trunk on this, and the trunk rotted. So we dug it up, whacked it in a pot, and as we can see, we've now got 2 new growth points. So again, quite small at the moment, but we will give that some time and patience, and in a year or 2, it'll be a nice little plant to go back out in the garden. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to winter damage in certain plants, you know they're going to take months, sometimes years to recover. And you don't always want to be looking at sort of a dead trunk for months on end. So yeah, the choice is you either leave it, dig it out, bin it, or give it a chance and let it regrow. This is what we've done here. So yeah, maybe next year or the year after, these plants will find their way back into the garden again. But yeah, I mean, plants are not cheap nowadays. You don't want to, you know, give up on them. It's worth taking the time and effort just to let them recover. And yeah, getting back in the garden once they start looking good. So again, excuse the grass has not been cut for over a month. I have been quite busy with my other project, which is sort of coming to an end now. I'm just about finished up on that. Next couple of days we finished up, and then next week we'll get the plantings done in the new hothouse. Right, so let's leave it there. Don't give up on your plants. Catch you on the next one.